Okay, hello everyone. This is Tadi. Welcome to today's episode of Tadi's Midweek Panadose, where we talk about different issues from our spiritual life to economics to politics and different other issues. So today we are continuing with our interviews as usual. We've been interviewing some of our politicians back at home, and we're going to continue with this today. Usually we give a few seconds for people to join. Um, please, as you join, please like the video, tell us where you're joining from, and share the video so that others can see and join. Uh, Once again, you're welcome. We are going to start this. I can see people are beginning to join. Thank you all for coming. And I pray that today we'll have a very, very fruitful discussion with our brother here, who is ready to roll, is ready to speak his mind, to tell us who he is and what he has for the people he hopes to represent. Once again, please like the video, tell us where you are joining from, and share the video so that others can join. So we are going to start our interview with a brother here, and I will begin with some guidelines that we usually give. Then after the guidelines, we'll start asking him questions. So these guidelines are for both our guests here and also for our listener or people who are watching. So guideline number one for our guests is there are three guidelines actually. Number one, think about this experience as a discussion and not a paper presentation. So we're just discussing. That is number one. Number two, so we want you to relax and just talk. Number two, this interview is going to be issue based. So we're not gonna attack other people, other politicians. It's going to be based on the issues or what you have to present. Number three, you have the right to abstain from any question that I ask. But remember, we're asking these questions so that we can promote you. So do your best to answer these questions. Once again, you are all welcome to this week's Tadi's Midweek Panadose. We are continuing with our interview. And for our viewers, please write your comments, write your questions, write your suggestions, and write your critique of our guests, but be respectful. As I always say, we want people to be respectful. It's not a do or die affair. It's not a war issue here. We are just rubbing minds. So be respectful in raising your questions and giving suggestions. So we're going to start our interview. We have a guest today who is running for an office. I'm going to have him to introduce himself. He will tell us his name, his family, the family he comes from, his clan, his constituency, political constituency, his education, marital status, and any other thing you want us to know. So our guest is here in the house. We are happy to have him, and a lot of people are already joining, so we're grateful. So could you please introduce yourself?
Thank you very much, Reverend, for this great privilege. I want to first and foremost thank God for making us to be among the living. Secondly, I want to thank you especially for this great initiative. And my names are Stephen Joel Dogo. I hail from town in Billiri local government of Gombe State. I'm a Christian by religion. I came from the family of 12. My dad is a retired clergy in Ekwa. The family, we have 10 girls and 2 boys. We've lost 3. Now we are 9 in number. I'm the elder son of the family. And my highest qualification is BSc, as Bachelor of Science, Business Education Accounting option. And I work with Tangale Microfinance Bank as it is, the admin officer and compliance officer. I have a professional qualification as a member Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. And I reside at home in Tal precisely, where I come to work on daily basis and go back to my residence. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for your introduction. Uh, Quite a profile there, actually. This is becoming so much excited to me as I interview people and I get to know their profile, who they are, their families, their educational qualification, their track record, what they've done, the kind of job they do. So this reminds me of our brother Ephraim that we interviewed last week. He also works at microfinance and is running for um, uh, to be member, House of Assembly, Gombe State House of Assembly, and you are running for the same office, but in a different constituency, if I'm correct. So this is really interesting. So that makes me ask the question: what is happening at microfinance? Is it that there is a meeting at the bank and that the bank want to produce politicians who represent us? Maybe the politicians we have, they are not doing their best, and the bank thinks that we have vibrant and intelligent, articulate young people that should represent us, and then the bank is sending you to sponsor you to go and represent us. Is that what is happening?
No, not really, Reverend. Not really. What informed our decision, or let me say my own decision, already have asked me to talk on behalf of my colleague also. Really, there is nothing like that. There is no decision taken in the bank to ask us to go into politics. There is nothing like that. What informed our decision is because of what is happening in the political, arena, and the zeal and the desire we have also to contribute our own quota politically, because we all know, just like someone once said, next to the God power is political power, and our people have been a little bit reluctant about going into politics, especially the good people in code, and we feel there is need for us to look into that direction. So I think what informed our decision is absolutely, it absolutely rests on our shoulder. There is no decision at the bank to let us go into politics. It's a hard decision because by implication you have to stay out of the bank. But bank, they have to give us little time so that we'll sort out things on our table before we leave and go into politics proper. So it's a personal decision.
Okay, thank you. It's a personal decision. That is good. Perhaps there are some strikers in the bank. Perhaps there are some things maybe under discussion or based on your observations. So that is kind of encouraging you, driving both of you to do this. This is a good thing. Actually, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a good thing that Tangale Microfinance Bank is producing two candidates. It says a lot about the bank. So we are glad that is happening. So let's talk about your background. You have a BSc in business education. You work at a bank. Actually, I should ask this: how long have you been working at the bank?
For 13 years, to be precise, Aaron. I joined in 2009. 13 years.
Okay, that is a lot. You've been working for 13 years. So, and then you are now going into politics. What do you intend to bring to the table? There are already a lot of candidates running for this office, and you are running for Billiri West, which means you represent Banganje, Tangalang, Tal, Todi, and Tudukwaya, all those areas. So we've had several people who represented that region. Probably some did well and some did not so well. I don't know the details about the politics there, but the question for you is, what specifically are you intending to bring to the table? What are the things that you saw some people were not able to accomplish, or they didn't do it as they should, and you think that you are the person that will bring that to fruition?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I think what is lacking in the political arena is not only in my constituency, Billiri West, but thank you for narrowing me to talk about my constituency, which I will do that. But the problem is not only with Billiri West constituency, is with the country at large, and not only the country, the continent of Africa. People that are supposed to be in the place of leadership politically have shied away from that office, and we are all reaping the repercussion. Because someone once said, one of the consequences of lack of participating in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. So, and you could see we have organizations that have yardstick to measure the performance of a nation. And the gospel truth, what I will bring, God's willing, is more of integrity, is more of capability, is more of credibility. But I used to dwell most on integrity. I'm a Christian. The Bible says, if the righteous is in authority, the people rejoice. But if the wicked is in authority, the people mourn. We were taught initially that politics is for, for the Gentiles, for those that don't, love God. We are just to live on earth, and after our time, we die and go to heaven, etc. But studies have shown clearly, and personally my own research have made me to understand that that is a very wrong perspective. We need to get involved into politics to correct the wrongs. And you know what characterizes African politics, I don't need to emphasize, is basically money politics, which is the root of corruption in the whole world. Money politics and impunity is the root of corruption in the whole world. And I've been an advocate that people should desist from making money a priority. I've been an advocate to tell people that competition should be based on ideas, not on who has a deep pocket. And as long as we refuse to adhere or desist from money politics, the repercussion is that we will keep having corrupt leaders in place, and all of us will be at the receiving end. So what I want to bring basically is this change, is a new ideology on how people should get involved in politics and how people should play politics. That is what I think I have different, that I feel I can offer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for mentioning that. So we're going to continue the interview. Once again, viewers, this is our brother Stephen Joel Dogo. Is running for the office of member, Gombe State House of Assembly, to represent Billiri West from Banganje Tangalang Tal Tadi and to the choir, for those of you who don't know what that exactly means. So, and we've been talking about his profile and what he intends to bring on board. So that is important. So we often want people to be more specific. You've talked about integrity, which is key in leadership. In fact, globally, in leadership, they say the two most important qualities of a leader or trait or things that are expected of a leader are integrity and communication. People must have integrity, and people should be able to communicate very clearly. And we can see you are able to communicate very clearly. For integrity, we will have to look at your track record at the place of work where you work now at Tangale Microfinance. And I want to go back to that. So you've been working as an admin at the Tangale Microfinance, and that means you deal with people, employers and other people who either work or volunteer with the bank. In what way has your experience there prepared you to be a person of integrity as you go into politics? I'm going to repeat the question. In what way has your work as an admin at the bank prepared you to be a leader of integrity that we should expect when you go into office, if you are voted?
Thank you very much, Reverend. A very good question. I was employed and as the admin officer of the bank, and I have not been shifted from that office. At the point in time, I was also permitted to serve as the secretary to the board, aside being the admin officer of the bank. So I'm not fully into operations. I'm more in the secretariat. But since it's a unit microfinance bank, we work as a family. There is a close relationship with our customers, and we also help one another in carrying out their responsibilities. So I deal mostly with the board, management and staff. My relationship with customers is a little bit limited, though we relate with them. So I want to believe that there are functions being carried out in the bank. We have those working at the operations, we have the audits, we have the the admin, etc. I have been up and doing in my responsibility in dealing with customers, board, management and staff. Some of the work I do is I serve as a recorder to the board. I coordinate board meetings. I serve as secretary to the board committees. I keep staff records, responsible for recruitment, training, exits. I'm also responsible for procurement. These are some of my responsibilities in the bank, and I think I've been very diligent. And whenever I decided to go into operation to help or assist my colleagues, I have had a good relationship with customers. And staff discipline is also my responsibility. So most of the times I call our staff and tell them that if you don't have customers, what you have is a hobby. It's not a business. So our customers should be treated as kings. Our customers should be given priority. That is what makes up a good business. And I have done my best to ensure that our customers are served very well. And I've been an advocate that they should be given priority. So I think this has, to some extent, proven that I can take high responsibilities if given the opportunity, and also perform creditably well. That is what I have to say.
Okay, thank you so much for that. We will come back to that issue later, but now I really want us to go into some of the real issues when it comes to representing your people, the people you want to represent in your constituency. We always want to make sure that we know if people understand what it means to be a representative, especially a legislature. You're not going to be an executive, you are going to be a legislator. So you are representing the people, you want to represent the people of Billiri West. Can you be specific with some of the key issues that they are facing, the people in your constituency are facing, and that you want to see that you address those issues? These are like issues in your heart that you have discovered, that you think these are the issues that that my people are wrestling with. And if I'm given the opportunity, I will be the one to address this once and for all. Give us at least 2 to 3 examples, at least 2 actually, example of what really are the practical grassroots challenges that you are hoping to address. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Reverend. It's very unfortunate. First, I have to clearly explain the function of being a member of Gombe State House of Assembly, if elected, the role of a member, the State House of Assembly, the function of the State House of Assembly, and that the responsibilities I can also go extra to take to ensure that I bring a positive change in my constituency. We know that the State House of Assembly is basically to make laws for peace, order, and good governance of the state, in respect to matters not in the exclusive legislative list, but in the concurrent list. It could also legislate on issues as empowered by the Constitution to do that, or to do so. Aside making the laws, the House of Assembly can amend laws or repeal existing laws. It can also perform an oversight function to the executive. So I'm going to look into the existing law, if they are good for the well-being of my people. If there are laws that are not very good, that they need to be amended, I'll also ensure that it has been amended. The ones that need to be repealed should be repealed completely, so that laws are made in a way that it will take care of the needs of the people. The law is made to serve the people. The laws are not made to work against the people. So I will ensure that. And aside that, just like you've asked, there are basic issues that confront our people, especially the people from my constituency, that has to do with one that affect their way of living or the way they live. We have issues that has to do with ideologies. Then we have issues that has to do with physical need. I am always disheartened that we have been divided. As small as we are in Billiri West, which is basically 6 wards, we've been divided. So my number one responsibility, I want to foster unity among my people. And that will be achieved by bringing religious leaders, traditional rulers, stakeholders together, so that we will come together, iron out our differences, and allow peace to thrive. Because we cannot succeed if there is no peace. That should be my priority. As it is, we have been divided based on religious line. We almost speak the same dialect, only people from Tudu Kwaya, that we have the Wurkun, we have few Jukun, we have few, Fulani settlements. Predominantly, we are Tangale people, but politics have succeeded in dividing us. And I want to work against that. And I want to believe some of these are perpetrated deliberately, so that those in authority will continue to take advantage of us. There are other unique challenges. We are left behind in infrastructural development. Billiri is our headquarters as a local government, but Zone B, we almost constitute the higher number of the population. So I work with government, federal, state, and the local government to see how we can drive development to our area, which will help our people. These are things I want to do. I also want to look into the area of agriculture, how to promote goods and services. Our people are peasant farmers. If they can be empowered, they can go into commercial farming. That also should be a priority. And that can be achieved through working with NGOs, donor agencies, even individuals that are willing to come in and support, so that we can grow a little bit above this level of being just peasant farmers. I also want to ensure from my experience in Tangale Microfinance Bank that there is youth and women empowerment through small and medium scale enterprises. We give microloan in Tangale Microfinance Bank, and the essence is to sponsor those small and medium, industries. I will also make sure I make that a priority, so that our people will be liberated from this scorching and abject poverty. Mostly after farming season, my people don't do anything, just to sit under trees, play cards, etc. And we cannot do that, or we cannot continue with that and get rid of poverty. So these are the areas I want to give it a priority. I'm not going there to embezzle money. I'm not going there to enrich myself, which has been the characteristics of African politicians. And it's unfortunate and disheartening. I read someone said, a lost nation is one in which the hungry and the jobless blindly support those who are responsible for their agony and misery. That is what is happening in my constituency. I will have to bring to bear what it means to represent, what it means to lead. It's not to accumulate wealth. It's not to embezzle. It's not to enrich yourself. It's not I like what Professor Plono Mumba once said. Are there these politicians, some of them, are they truly honorables or horribles? It's disheartening. I want to promote education. I was in a school recently, Equa Secondary School in Billiri, to celebrate Savings Day, organized by CBN, that we should go out and sensitize people on the need to make savings. And we went to the school with my colleague, the accountant, and the principal asked the student to sing a national anthem and the school anthem before we now tell them why we are in the school. While these children were singing the national anthem and later the school anthem, I was weeping. I was weeping that I could not control myself. I could see talent, but some people that call themselves politicians have eaten up these children's future. I cried, and I had to explain to the children that I am crying because I have it in my spirit that you should thrive and succeed. But some people out there have stolen your future. It's disheartening. I don't have regret going into politics. I thank God because my eyes have been opened. I even understand Christianity better. I've seen Christians that go to churches, they will fill the church. If you ask them, why is your PVC? You have only a few people that will bring out their PVC. These are the things I would make sure I embark on sensitization, making my people, participate more in politics until we get to the promised land, because I have that belief that my people will be liberated. These are areas I'm going to focus on, and many others, God's willing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that elaborate explanation and response to this answer. You seem to be an administrator from everything you're saying, and also you've already told us that you're an admin at the bank, which is good, and we need administrators to make things happen. And you touch on two things in your last response. One is the issue of agriculture. Most of our people are peasant farmers, but over the years, you don't see people becoming, you don't see their lifestyle changing, becoming more economically stable. Some can't even feed themselves. And there are many factors for that. You are an expert in business. One of the observations that some experts have made is that one of the reasons why we in places like Gombe South, we struggle economically is because we don't do farming as a business. We just do farming as a tradition. You know, it's my father's farmland. I need to cultivate it. That is all. There is no profit. People will spend 100,000, and then what they get out of the farm is not worth 70,000, which means they have lost, and they don't care. You know, as far as they are concerned, that is just tradition. And again, one of the challenges that of people selling their produce during harvest, like around this time through December, because of Christmas, weddings, and many other things. And I've had a lot of people condemn that. A lot of people say, you know, you're wasting money, this and that. I used to do that, but at a point, I started asking questions. Actually, what did we expect the people to do? This is their only source of income, and they have a wedding. Their daughter is getting married. They need to buy some things for Christmas. You know, they have other things to do. Is it? What do you think should be the solution to this issue? Because I don't think people are going to stop selling their farm produce, no matter what we say. Since I was a child, now I'm over 40. People have not changed. It has not changed. It means we are not providing the right solution to the problem. If you are elected, how can you? What do you think will be the solution, and how can you use your influence as an honorable member in the State House of Assembly to see that you help the people who are peasant farmers to be able to rise above poverty and move forward without telling them not to sell their farm produce?
It will be difficult for the people to stop selling because that is the only source of their livelihood. Some of them have to borrow money to invest in farming. And at the end of the year, the person that gave them the money, be it a microfinance bank or money lenders, will ask for their money or will demand for their money. So the poor farmer is left with no option than to sell his greens. That is a perspective, and which you're right. But now the remedy to it is just to make sure you invest, or you give them more money to invest so that they can have enough farm produce. Two, you can engage them in skills acquisition. These our young men need to complement the farming with skills. There are organizations that are willing to come over if you can invite them to teach people how to acquire skills, be it carpentry, be it tailoring, be it software managing, so many things. I will make that a priority. When you have an alternative, you cannot sell your farm produce. If you don't have alternative, what will you do? What will you do? They sell this produce to pay children's school fees. They sell this produce to take their wife and children to the hospital. The politicians have stolen their money, that these people are in abject poverty. There is nothing they can do. It's a pathetic situation, but you have to look at it holistically. You cannot just blame them. I was in College of Education recently for a graduation, and I sat somewhere and I was mourning. These are the children of the poor farmers. All they can afford is to send their children to colleges of education. They have to sell their farm produce. They are not into other businesses. They are not professionals. They are not into trade. So I'll make sure that, especially the young men that are coming up now, have engaged in other activities aside farming. I believe that will go a long way to liberate them. And if God, God helping me, and many others that have a good heart for this country, things will change for better. I'm very optimistic about that.
Yeah.
I'm contesting under the platform of PRP. But let me say categorically, who knew that some people like Peter Obi are existing earlier than now? Who knew that? Many people are falling in love with him because of his integrity, because of his love for the people, because of his selfless service. He is giving people testimony. He's not saying anything. If you think you're a good person, come and give us your testimony. Tell us what you have done. Tell us what you are intending to do. Yeah. These are the caliber of leaders we want in this country. Yeah. People that are talking of ideas, not about who have deep pockets. Is disheartening, is disgusting, is devastating. God has given us everything we need and the brain to work against this, and we are reluctant about it. God will not come down from heaven to do these things for us. We have to participate. Let me tell you this quickly, Reverend. What joining politics have cost me in life, if not because of the grace of God, I would have quit politics. I was attacked. I had 2 head-on collision with my car that I lost the car. My first child that I had to wait for 5 years to have him was attacked and killed.
Wow.
I know how much I have lost. But I keep saying that these things will change. I am ready to sacrifice my life so that others, just like one white man said, if there may be trouble, let it be in my day, that my child will have peace. I'm ready to give my life so that those coming from behind will succeed. What kind of a country do we have? Why people are celebrating mediocrity? We are a lost nation. Just like I said earlier, a lost nation is one in which the hungry and the jobless are blindly, celebrating those that are responsible for the agony and misery.
Yeah.
So I'll put an end to that. I'm not running to Gombe to stay. I'm not going to carry anybody's money. I'm not going to negotiate anybody's future. I'm a Christian. I don't love the world more than the way I love God. Paul says, I'm crucified with the Lord. Or rather, God forbid that I should boast, except in the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ, through which the world has been crucified to me and I to the world. I don't love this world. I've lived in Abuja for 12 years. I've been to more than 30 states in this country. I just have one daughter. And I'm above 40, just like you rightly mentioned. I'm not going into politics to steal people's money, just like others are doing it. And our people are busy because they've been pushed into poverty, because they've been pushed out of school. They don't know their left from their right. They are celebrating those people that should be behind bars. I will propose in the State of Assembly that some crimes should be included in the capital crime, so that they will face capital punishment, which is bribery and corruption. Looting public funds that does not belong to you is unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Thank you. That was really powerful. Thank you for that political sermon. That is really a sermon you preach there. That is really powerful. I pray that a lot of our politicians will have this kind of passion. But beyond passion, of course, we want action. So you are saying these things, they are really powerful. But when you go there, that is when we really test to see what you are able to offer. Before I continue, actually, I think your phone is too close to you. Can you stay a little bit away from the phone? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, that is good. Okay, that is good now. So let me read some comment here before I read what I have on my table. I think there are a few comments. I don't know if there's any question, but I think I saw some comment. I'm gonna read whatever I see. Comrade Peter Emmanuel Damboyi said watching from Banganje, Billiri, LGA, Gombe State, presently at University of Midweek. Okay. A lot of them, they're saying where they're watching from. So IBM Ankama says, Honorable Stephen Joel Dogo, the only leader we can trust. Man having what it takes to be a leader. So there's someone who is in support of you. Let me see. Labatak Alasan Ilah says this is what Tangale people want. The person who knows what the law is and his responsibilities. If elected Tangale people be wise. So this is also somebody in support of you. Um, um, Betlang James Kaidi says these are the kind of people we need. Success is yours, Honorable Stephen Dogo. So these are all comments of support towards you. So thank you for your comment. Keep sending your comment and your questions or observations. So I want to I want to talk about some of the things that your critics are saying about your ambition, to run for office to represent the good people of Billiri West. And one of it is that what you are doing, as you come from Tal, and there are people who are saying, well, there is actually someone also who is running for the same office from Tal and is a matured person who has had several years, over 30 years of working with the government. He knows the mechanisms of government, he knows how things work, has the connections, has the experience to be able to represent the people. And so they're seeing your vote or your ambition as a way of just spoiling his vote. Instead of that you should allow this elder statesman to run for this office and just support him. Then in the future, after him, it will be your own time. And so that is what they are advising. So what's your take on that?
Thank you, Reverend. I think we are all products of what we know. I will not be surprised if I hear some people say that. Yeah, they are speaking from what exactly they know. But I have said this severally, that knowledge or education is to help you have a critical study of your environment and take informed decisions to better your life and the life of people around you. I don't think anybody that has gone to school will say that or will say this. One. Secondly, for those that are saying it, somebody once said, a bad system doesn't appear wrong to those who benefit from it. They will do everything possible to defend it at the detriment of the larger society. So I'm not surprised. Even this government, we are crying. Some people are celebrating it. But what I keep telling people is that go and make critical analysis of whomsoever is contesting from any party. Find out about his track record. Find out what he has done. Find out the genuinity of what he's telling people he wants to do, because there is life after campaign. That has been my answer, because I've had people mention this. And I told them, if I didn't do it now, when? Nigeria is bleeding. We are not talking only of experience in Nigeria, we are talking of integrity. Of course, we need capability, we need acceptability, but more importantly, integrity.
Can you move a little bit to the right? Can you move a little bit to the right? We can't see you very well. Okay. Yes, go on. That's good.
Yeah, that is the problem of this country. If you go to the National Assembly and count the number of professors and engineers, doctors, you will not imagine what is happening in the country. We have almost borrowed over 60 trillion naira as it stands. I've listened to Obaseki, the governor of Edo State recently. Yeah, I think Edo recently. He said if he had knew earlier or not earlier that this is the extent this country has been indebted, likely he wouldn't have gone into politics. He was lamenting. So when you are telling me experience that you cannot show anything for that experience, I don't think it's a good experience that should be recognized. Yeah, the experience should be the number and the amount of sacrifice you have made in life to help others to succeed. Just like someone also said, posterity will forget those who live for their selfish interests, but it will only remember those who sacrifice their happiness for the interest of all.
Okay.
People should thoroughly find out who that person is and who Stephen is, and go for competence, and go for integrity, and go for liberation. We need liberation. So that is it. I don't have I want to believe they are saying what they know, but I advise them to go a little bit further and make critical analysis. Those that didn't even go to school should ask people, ask neighbors. Ask neighbors. These are people you relate with closely. They will tell you about the person.
Okay.
Just like the Bible says, nothing is concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made manifest. So whatsoever you are doing, people around you should know, and they should tell people.
Okay.
So that is my stake on this.
Okay. Thank you so much. So you're saying experience is good, but it should be experience that was geared towards selfless service and helping people, transforming the community, not self-service. So that is good. So another thing that your critics are saying is connected to what you've just said about experience, track record. And you have told us about your own track record, what you've done and what you're doing at the microfinance bank. And so they're saying that, but well, in your office, in your place of work at the microfinance bank, you have had problem with some board members, you have had problem with some staff, that they thought that paint you not to be not really be a good leader. So people are concerned about that. That you have some rough times with some of the people on the board and some of the staff at the bank, and they think that is going to work against you. What is your take on that?
Reverend, I didn't get it clearly. Please, can you repeat your question? Sorry. It's fluctuating, so I didn't get the question very clearly. Sorry,
Okay,
sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Bit clearer.
Yeah, so they're saying your experience at microfinance bank, your job over there as an admin, you've had some problems with some of the board members of the bank and even some of the staff at the bank, and some of those struggles have depicted you to be not so much of a good leader, and so they have concern about voting you into office because of those stories that they've had about you.
Thank you very much, Reverend. I think it's a hearsay. It's a hearsay. I have a very good relationship with my board members. When I came in late, Yakubu James Labagda was the board chairman. I worked with him. Then later, late SA Dangabal took over from him. I worked with him closely also. And now the acting board chairman is Dr. Daniel Mado. So I've worked. I've had a very good and smooth relationship with these people. I learned a lot from them. In fact, they've tutored me a lot. So I've never had problem with any of them. I've not been queried. In fact, I've not even been given a verbal reprimand in all my relationship with them. Okay. And management, we also have a very good relationship. The records are there. If there are things you're doing, people should go through your file. They will see it. I have a good relationship with management, more especially the staff, because the staff are almost directly working under me. I'm responsible for most of them, the recruitment process. Staff discipline is under my own jurisdiction. And what I do mostly is just to correct you where you're wrong and to tell you to live up to expectation. Because we are running a business. We are not a government organization. And if we don't treat people well or we don't behave ourselves well, we are not likely to succeed. So I mostly talk to staff on what is expected of them to do. I've not had problem with anybody I can vividly remember. But I am someone that fight against anything that is unethical. We have ethics. Maybe the way you dress, the way you talk to your customers, etc. But I have not had any problem or confrontation with any staff. I'm very sure of that.
Okay.
I'm very sure of that. I'm not saying I'm good, because you cannot praise yourself. It's another mouth that will speak good of you. But
Yeah.
I'm answering in regard to your question. I don't think I've had problem with anybody. But I'm very sensitive to the environment, and I work hard to ensure that we work in accordance, with the ethics of the organization. That's what I do.
Okay, thank you. There's a comment from Eduka. He's saying, watching from Gombe. Well done, Stephen Dogo. Yeah. So someone who's also running for similar office in Billiri East, and but Mila Mela says, following more grace to all our aspirants that honor the interview. Invite the Lord to bless you tremendously. Thank you, our brother, and Umaru Isakumo says, good evening, everyone. I'm watching from Benin City. Okay, he's just announcing. So as we round off, I want to ask you this question about your electability and your acceptability. How much acceptance do you have in your constituency? What is the prospect of you winning? What are you doing? Are you really gaining ground at the grassroots? What is the prospect of you winning this election come 2023?
Thank you, Reverend. I think these reasons are enough for me to have upper hand on the other candidates. Since my return from Abuja in 2009, I picked a job with Tangale Microfinance Bank. After my stay 5 years in Billiri, I relocated to Tal. That's my constituency, and I have lived there from 2013 to date. And on going to stay in Tal, I initiated so many things to better the life of the youth. For instance, I discovered some people are praying over their ignorance when it comes to issue of sport. So myself and few of my friends came up with what we call Zombi Football Association then. Now it has metamorphosis into Tangale Sport Federation, just to unify the youth so that they have a sense of belonging, so that some people will not exploit them or take advantage of them, just like mostly the politicians are doing. And I feel obliged to say this, that our resources, myself and my wife, mostly goes in supporting the less privileged to further their education. I run an open door policy. My stay at home is an added advantage, and my relationship with the youth, which they have assessed and they have confidence in me. In fact, why I had to join the League of Aspirants far back in 2016 is because they met me repeatedly that I should go into politics. I almost declined, but later, after consultations and studies, I discovered I cannot run away from that. So I know the youth have confidence in me. Those with integrity, the elders, have confidence in me. Those that desire positive change have confidence in me. I have the majority. I'm very sure of that. I have said this, that we should not entertain most of the time people that live away from home coming, to run for these offices. The office should be for people that will be accessible, people that reside at home. I've been an advocate of that. And I've also been an advocate that it should not be for too elderly people, because the young men will find it difficult to access them. I play football up to now. I play with the youth. I get involved with them. So I am very optimistic that I have the upper hand to win this election. And thank God there will be no manipulation in 2023. I'm very happy about this 2022 Electoral Act. I'm very happy about it. So that will give me an edge over those that were capitalizing on rigging elections, putting themselves into office and calling themselves elected.
Okay.
While they manipulated their ways in there. Is unfortunate. With the Electoral Act, I know I'm going to win by God's grace because I have the majority.
Okay, great to hear that. I wish you the best. There's a comment from brother Thomas Umar Lika. He says Stephen Dogo is making a good presentation. The Billiri should go for people like this. So thank you for your comment and your support. So you've said a lot of things, and I can see the passion in you and the ability to articulate and analyze the issues, the problems, the challenges, and profile some solutions that you hope you will do something about. Now, as we round up here, politicians can talk about all these things. Talk is easy, but really making things happen is a whole different ball game. It's something huge. We are kind of a minority in Gombe State. I mean, in terms of the number of local governments, so in Gombe South we have only 4. And when you go there, you will be going to represent the people of your constituency, the people of Billiri local government, and of course Gombe South. And you will be meeting with people from different parties, different backgrounds, and different local governments. How do you hope to work with those people who have different value systems and worldviews than you do, and even political articulation of things than you? How would you work with them to make sure that some of these things you are saying you want to do for your people, you are able to actually do them? Because it's not easy to navigate. When you go there, you see that things are really complicated. It's not as easy as we see. So you meet with a lot of people at the house. What are your strategies to see that you work with your colleagues to implement some of these things we want to implement?
Thank you, Reverend. Politics is all about negotiation. Politics is about lobbying. You go into negotiations. Some of these people that you feel they are our enemies or they are difficult people, no. It's because they've been brainwashed. They've been brainwashed. We have had instances where a governor will go and borrow billions and cut away with it, while you have the state house of assembly that is supposed to carry an oversight function. So navigating, just like you rightly said, seems difficult, but to my mind, it's not very difficult. Everybody's or everyone's boundary is defined by the Constitution, is defined by the office you're occupying. And if you can humbly and amicably confront your colleagues, sit on a round table, look at these issues holistically, it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. There are areas that will encourage inviting professionals to guide us. So it's not about fighting, it's all about understanding. It's about negotiation. It's about lobbying. Where the government, where you need to lobby, you have to lobby. What belongs to us, we will ask for it. Some of these things they call lobbying. Lobbying what? There are things that are already defined according to the budget or the Constitution. Somebody will be manipulating that should go and lobby. But where there is a need to lobby, we will do that. Where it is our right, we will ask for it. If we are denied, we will take the whole world.
Okay.
We will take the whole world.
Okay.
That's what I have learned. You cannot be a revolutionist and you keep quiet when things is going wrong. I have friends all over. I'm the secretary when I contested in APC far back 2018. 84 of us lost at the primaries. We had a meeting. I was elected as the secretary. So I have a relationship with relatively most of these politicians all over, cut across the 11 local governments. Some of them are still contesting. Some of them have won the election. When we contested earlier, we have a good relationship with them. We respect each other. We have been having series of meetings, so they know my worth. What I keep telling people is that it is only the truth that will stand the test of time. And just like Paelton said, lastly, Nigeria and Nigerians are known for corruption in the whole world. But the time is coming that Nigeria will be known for righteousness.
Yeah.
There's going to be a turnaround in this country. God has blessed us a lot that we need to succeed. So I'm optimistic that it's not going to be a talk of war. Through negotiation and understanding and lobbying, we will all work together in harmony and succeed together. That is my belief.
Okay, thank you so much. Lastly, what is your last words to the viewers, the people of your constituency are watching you. Some of them are going to watch, after we are done, people come back to watch. And also the Tangale people generally, they're watching you from all over the country, from all over the world. What are your last words to the Tangale people? What are your last words, especially to the people of your constituency?
Thank you, Reverend. My last word to Tangale people is that we should remain, resolute in being who we are. I've been to over 30 states in this country. Tangale people are one of the most peaceful people. Tangale people are one of the culture-free society. We are good people. I'm saying this without sentiment. I've been to 30 states out of the 36 plus Abuja. I have stayed for some time in most of them. Tangale people are good people. We just need to rise to our responsibility. We need to remain resolute. We need to go back to our ethics. We know that our stronghold in Tangale is God, is the fear of God. And standing for the truth. That's what the Tangale man is known for. Even the Yeku, the gods we were serving before the advent of Christianity, were against evil. There are things you don't do and you go for Yeku, you be struck to death. We should not lose heart despite the challenges. That's what I have to tell my people. I love Tangale as a nation. I have posted earlier that I can give my life for my people. My coming from Tangale is not a coincidence, it's divine. And I'm proud to be a Tangale. And I know the only problem we're having in Tangale is lack of political participation. We're a bit reluctant. And some people were coming from behind the veil, with the divide and rule method, bringing stooges, to lead us. The Bible says the blind man lead the blind man, they fall into a pit. But I'm happy because of the political. Look at what you're doing, Reverend. We appreciate you a lot. Just like what you mentioned earlier, some people are willing to come in and sponsor. We are suffering. Now that we are into politics, with all the preaching, we have to give money. But I keep saying that will stop with me. If I'm elected into the office, I will work hard to take away this mentality from the mind of our people, or this mindset, and to support the young politicians or crop of politicians that will come up, so that we'll do away with money politics, which is the root of corruption in the whole world, and impunity. That is my stake. I love Tangale people, looking forward to the overwhelming vote in 2023, that I will go and start working for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stephen Joel Dogo, for this really vibrant interview. We can see the passion in you. We can see how you are able to articulate some of these issues, and you analyze them, and begin to talk about the solutions to these problems, some of the real issues facing our people. We wish you the best. We wish all our candidate the best, and we pray that elections will be peaceful, will be fair, will be free, and that at the end of it all, the will of the people, the choice of the people would be the one to represent the people. That's what democracy means, that the people decide their future by deciding who represents them. So that is what we hope would happen. So we wish you the best, our brother. We pray that you will continue to do greater things for the Tangale people, for Gombe State, and for Nigeria at large, and Africa. I see you also have an eye on African politics. You tend to see things from a global perspective, which is what we encourage our politicians to do. Don't be a local champion. think globally and act locally. That is the way to go. People need to open their eyes, see what is happening globally, and then say, okay, how does this work in my own locality? So these are the kind of politicians we are looking for going forward. We're not against anybody. We are praying for everyone. But we encourage that our politicians open their eyes. We don't want narrow-minded politicians. We don't want people who can only see their family and maybe their neighborhood. We want people who can see things, local government wise, state wise, nationwide, and globally, and then be able to narrow it down to the problems and the issues in their community. And people who will focus more on developing young people, as our brother has mentioned, he has even already been involved with that. So we want politicians who are involved in sustainable development of young people. That is our prayer. I keep saying this. We want to discourage just giving handouts to people all over the world. This is being discouraged. Just check it all over the world. Handouts are being discouraged, except when there's a crisis. But the best thing to do is to provide sustainable development for our people, and we pray that our politicians will begin to see that and go that route. That is the way forward. That is the way that will take us to the promised land. So once again, thank you for coming today. We are gonna stop here, and then we continue next week with another episode of our Tadi Midweek Panadose. Thank you once again, our brother. Thank you, our guests. Thank you, our viewers, for coming today. We pray that God bless you wherever you are, and you have a nice day. Bye bye.